Hi, we are the Headmaster Consulting, helping students with their university applications, providing end-to-end personalized consulting for college applications. This is another episode of the Headmaster Help, where we help you delve deeper into the college admissions and invite industry experts to talk about their experience and shed light on some tips and tricks to help you ace your college applications. Today, we are glad to have Srinjay Ray among us, who is the director and partner at Tutela and has helped over 3,000 students with their SAT and AP preparation. He's an academic counselor helping students bridge the gap between their perfect SAT scores and test preparations with their school academics. In this episode of the Headmaster Help, we'll be talking about advanced placements with Srinjay, and we hope you all find his expert advice and insights helpful. So, Srinjay, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I have been in this domain for the last 10 odd years now. I have always been in the education domain. I have taught. Now I don't have the bandwidth to teach anymore. I take care of Tutela. We have started Tutela about six and a half years back now. Since then, we have been coaching students for SAT, ACT, AP, IB, IGCSE. So yeah, I mean, there have been some phenomenal scores over the last few years.
Okay.
To give you some insight, 50% of our students scored 1500. Not really 50, 47% of our kids scored a 1500 or more last year.
Okay.
So that's quite an achievement. I would like to. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So as we mentioned, we'll today be talking about APs and SATs with you. So could you give us a brief overview of what exactly APs are?
So, you've taken SAT or ACT. Now, how do you prove your academic excellence in your core subject areas? So you take APs. APs are college level modules offered in subjects such as physics, calculus, statistics, psychology, English literature, language, history, to name a few.
Okay.
So it will also help you in getting college credits with a good AP score. The college gives you credits. You won't have to study those subjects in the college for the first 2 years.
Okay.
And it also saves some percentage of your tuition fees. So unlike SAT or ACT, keep this in mind that APs are only conducted once a year.
Okay.
That isn't, yeah.
Okay, so what are certain benefits of taking these AP courses? Okay, so what are certain benefits of taking these AP courses?
Well, there are so many benefits. Firstly, they are accepted across colleges in the US and Canada.
Okay.
So they are a platform to show your mastery or your proficiency in certain core subjects. In UK, if you are applying for a math major to Oxford or Cambridge, from a school, you take 5 APs where you have to score 5 out of 5, which is difficult.
Yeah.
But then you got to take it if you're trying to show your proficiency. They also help you prove your academic excellence in core subject areas while you are applying to colleges, and they help you college credits, and you get a tuition fee waiver, like I mentioned before.
Yeah.
So US colleges are about a holistic approach. If you haven't performed in some of your subjects in schools, APs can actually compensate for them.
Okay.
Also, if you have missed out on a particular subject due to subject selection norms in IB, so you got to select one subject from 6 groups.
Exactly.
So if you miss out on a subject, but you still want to pursue it, you can fulfill it by taking an AP. So it enables that versatility in your profile. So let's say you have missed out on psychology or computer science or statistics, but you still want to take it. So APs give you an opportunity to take that. APs also give you a head start in school, and they are conducted at the beginning of the year. Therefore, you already know the content of that specific subject before you learn it in your school.
Okay.
So one very important point that I would like to add is the school grades you submit along with your college applications are based on predicted grades.
Yeah.
These scores are the ones that you will likely achieve under positive circumstances. Whereas AP scores are real-time scores, and you have already secured them prior to your college applications. So hence they are more convincing.
Okay. Okay, since you've mentioned that you've dealt with so many
That's
students all these past years, so are there any common subjects that you see Indian students opt most often for their universities?
and my advice is not to follow the trend. Calculus is something everyone wants to take because
Okay.
it has a lot of weightage. It's a
Yeah.
difficult paper. So APs are college level credit. So you understand that the weightage of a paper is what you get college credits for those. So that means you are doing something at college level.
Yeah.
So don't push yourself so much that your school academics suffer. At times people who are not really good with math, they go for calculus,
Okay.
calculus AB. Um, Instead, you can take a statistics. That is also a mathematics paper,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Push yourself beyond your means. Ensure you are trying to show your proficiency in a particular subject. So ensure that you scored a complete 5 out of 5.
Okay.
So we see a lot of computer science takers, economics takers, micro and macroeconomics. We see a lot of calculus, like I mentioned, statistics, psychology. Psychology, again, it's a good paper for anyone, irrespective of the kind of major you might be pursuing. And it's also scoring. We have particularly seen Indians kids scoring 5 out of 5 in psychology, which doesn't otherwise happen. If you look at the global statistics, it's a little different.
As you mentioned that a lot of students tend to follow trends. So is there any other mechanism for students to decide which one is best fit for them, like which AP to take? Is there any mechanism they can follow, if not the trends?
See, it is important to identify your strengths early. What subjects you might want to pursue for you? What are the subjects? Maybe follow a process of elimination. These are the subjects I don't want to study. These are the subjects that interest me. You select your specializations, like let's say HL or SL subjects, or the bundle of subjects that you might be doing for your 11th and 12th grade in CBSE or ICSE school. And based on that, you basically choose, okay, this is the major that I might want to pursue in an international college or a university. Based on what you want to do, choose your APs. You just don't take APs because someone else is taking it. If you are going to do a STEM subject, if you want to pursue engineering, go for maths and physics and chemistry. If you want to do bio or biochemical engineering, go for biochem. You can take as many APs as you want, but then prioritize things in a proper way. Take good advice from counselors such as you guys are.
Yeah. Okay. So, like, once students have chosen the AP that they want to go ahead with, how do you recommend that they go about picking subjects within those APs as well? For example, calculus AB versus calculus BC. So, how do you recommend that students go about this process?
Again, it's based on your skill. Someone who can score 5 out of 5 in a calculus AB. So let's understand what is a calculus BC and what is calculus AB.
Yeah.
Calculus AB is a subset of BC. So let's say calculus BC is about 25-30% more than AB in terms of the syllabus.
Okay.
Your AB syllabus completes, and then you prepare 25-30% beyond AB.
Okay.
In order to complete the calculus BC syllabus. Now depends on what kind of major you might be applying for. If you are going for STEM, then you should ideally be going for a calculus BC paper. If you are going for something to do with business or computer science, okay, it also depends on what the colleges consider. Every college has their own way of looking at APs. Someone may value calculus AB more than another college, which values calculus BC more for the same set of courses.
Okay. Okay.
So ensure that you are able to do well whatever APs you choose, be it calculus AB or BC. If you can't manage calculus, the vastness of calculus BC, then go for AP. But ensure that you score a 5.
Okay, so like you mentioned, there are a lot of AP courses also provide you with credit transfer or credit scores. So since APs often provide credit scores, can you share an insight into which APs have higher transferable credit scores and which do not?
Again, these things vary from college to college. Like if it is in engineering, it is definitely calculus, If it is business related courses, it is definitely economics and statistics. If it
Okay.
is humanities related courses, it has to be English, history, US history. If you're applying to a US college, and if you're a foreign national, let's say you're an Indian,
Yeah.
you'll definitely showcase your skill and interest if you take a US history,
Okay.
right? They
Yeah.
you'll convince them, okay, I'm interested in your nation, which is why I'm applying here, and this is some extra steps that I've taken in order to show my interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some strategies which you recommend students deploy in order to prepare for these AP exams better?
Well, don't overestimate the number of APs you plan to take.
Yeah.
APs can be taken over a period of 4 years of your high school.
Okay.
Your middle school, you start from ninth, you take some in 10th, you then take some in 11th, then you take some in 12th. Certain APs you definitely can't take unless you are in 12th, because there are certain prerequisites
Yeah.
that you need to know in order to start preparing for a particular subject.
Okay.
Whereas at the same time, there are certain subjects which are easier, and you can start preparing as early as when you are in ninth.
Yeah.
So spread everything evenly over 4 years. Just don't end up in being in 12th and then decide, okay, I have to take 4 5 APs. Take two,
Yeah.
take three every year. That is ideal.
Yeah. So I think planning their APs would be just one of these mistakes that students end up making while picking their APs. Are there any other common mistakes that you see students make often, either when they're preparing for it or when they're picking their AP exams?
Like I said, taking too many APs in a particular year, they are misinformed. I see students taking APs because someone else is taking it. He has a different path. Every individual is different. Everyone has a different story.
True.
APs and SAT and academics, these are uh, a part of it. But then there are so many other things. US colleges, they look at a very holistic approach.
True. True.
Whereas at the same time, when you, like I mentioned right at the beginning, if you are applying to an Oxford or Cambridge for, let's say, math, they want you to score 5 in 5 APs. So that's a different approach altogether. They are very academic centric.
Okay. Okay. So with the recent shift towards virtual and online learning that we've seen in the education industry, how have AP courses adapted to this new educational landscape?
Well, it is the same, it remains the same. The know-how, the way they you really so we teach students for APs, SAT and ACT. Honestly, you can do without. If you are motivated enough, you don't require a teacher. You can just pick up a book and learn. APs were conducted online over during COVID for 2 years, and then they are again back to the same mode of conducting tests the way they did back before COVID. So they are conducted in test centers. So that get help from whatever means you can reach out, you can take virtual classes, you can prepare on your own, you can have someone helping you at a place in person. So it really doesn't matter.
Okay. Okay. So is there any insight that you want to provide into the timeline for taking all of these AP courses in relation to the college application process? Like you mentioned, some people can start on as early as ninth grade and others defer it to 12th. So is there any specific strategy that you would ask students to deploy?
See, I can go on and on. It depends on the kind of subject that you might be aspiring to do in 11th and 12th, and then the kind of major that you might be doing. Okay, let me just put it this way. There are certain subjects which you can take, such as psychology or history, if you can mug, if you can, there are no concepts required for these. You don't need to be matured. Um, your intellectual capital need not be as high as someone who's in 11th. You need to learn. If you can learn, if you can grind yourself well, you can study more. You can take history or psychology or or let's say comparative governance, these sort of subjects early, as early as when you are in ninth. Subjects such as statistics, and that has nothing to do with your school curriculum. Statistics paper is just not limited to mean, median, and mode.
Yeah.
So there's way more
to that.
than that.
Yeah.
So you can basically start preparing for statistics as early as when you are in ninth, and then take it in 10th.
Okay.
It is possible. It's not very complicated. At the same time, papers such as chemistry or physics C mechanics, physics C electricity and magnetism, or calculus, you need certain prerequisites. You learn certain things in 11th grade.
Yeah.
Those are the based on which the paper is set. So you got to cover those. So you can't take them before you are in 12th.
Okay. Okay, so I think that would put an end to my questions regarding the AP. Is there any last piece of advice that you would want to give to students who are preparing for APs or planning to take up on it?
Choose your subjects wisely. Plan your timeline well. That's a universal advice I would give to anyone.
Okay.
Because US or UK, they give you, it's not the last year of your school grades that they just look at. They look at how you have done over the last 4 years. You get utilize that time wisely.
True, true. Okay. So that was some great piece of advice, Srinjay. Thank you so much for your time. And that will be all on today's episode of the Headmaster Help. Thank you so much for sparing the time to shed light on this crucial aspect
Lovely.
of college applications. Yeah, I'm sure our
Awesome.
students would be delighted to hear from you. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
It was great
Awesome.
having you. That will be all of today's episode of the Headmaster Help. Thank you so much, Srinjay, for sparing the time to shed light on this crucial aspect of college applications. I'm sure our students would find your advice very insightful and very helpful. Thank you once again for your time. It was great having you. And for all your other college application related queries, feel free to reach out to us at the Headmaster Consulting. We are a team of college consultants helping students get into their dream universities with personalized and tailored end-to-end services, ensuring seamless application process. Furthermore, if you're looking for something more specific, we also help students with their resume, cover letters, portfolios, etc. Feel free to reach out to us. All our links are mentioned in the description link below.